Larry Fitzgerald is a Hall of Famer, but let's get back down to brass tacks as far as building Mike LaFleur's first Arizona Cardinals coaching staff, and did a big-time defensive coordinator just become available, Johnny Venerable?
Yeah, Arizona Cardinals are suddenly one of only 3 teams that need a DC. Is Jim Schwartz a viable option? We'll tell you. PHNX Cardinals from Radio Row starts now.
It's media night. All the players talk to the media, and it's a circus. Oh! And now you're here.
Excited, very excited. We've already got some guests on tap.
Hey, welcome in. Live from Radio Row in downtown San Francisco, the site of Super Bowl 60. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Brack. Noah Man behind the mic. Today, we're fired up with a full slate of guests, and we're talking a little Cards coaching staff, Bo.
That's right. We were able to run down Cam Cox, Will Hernandez. Miho joins us doing Miho things. We get the Streveler package in here. Former Cardinals quarterback Chris Streveler. How about AQ Shipley?
Yeah.
Former Cardinal and color guy. Jam-packed show today. Excited to bring it to you. Of course, it's brought to you by all of our great content from Super Bowl 60s, provided by our friends over at Circle K. Join the inner circle today. What are you doing with yourself? Get in on the perks. Like how about Frosters and Polar Pops and saving big money at the pump, 25 cents off your first 5 fill-ups. By becoming a member of the free membership of the Inner Circle. And, of course, this episode of PHNX Cardinals brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Use the code PHNX365. And when you deposit $10, bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, Johnny.
Hit that like button. Big thanks to all of our friends out here on Radio Row. Could the Cardinals have a new friend? A new DC friend in Jim Schwartz. So let's turn the clocks back about 10 days ago, right before Mike LaFleur got hired. Jim Schwartz, who thought he was a prominent candidate for the Cleveland Browns, was subsequently passed over for Todd Monken.
Yeah.
And as a result, even though he has 1 year left on his contract, he has told the Browns, I am done. It's over. That was heading into today, and he made it official. Jim Schwartz, one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL, who thought he was going to get the Browns job, handed in his letter of resignation, and the Browns accepted it. So he will not be the defensive coordinator for Cleveland under Todd Monken, making him technically, kind of, sort of, available for either the 2 remaining teams that need a defensive coordinator, the Las Vegas Raiders and both the Arizona Cardinals. Now, there is a catch as it relates to his availability.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's not a free agent, right? He's just not going to go back to the Browns, and I think that the Browns control his rights in the interim. So trying to figure out, are they going to make him available to other teams to try to hire? That remains the biggest question. As it stands after the news broke of his resignation and the Browns accepting that, Ian Rappaport pushed that story a little bit further and saying, he's not a free agent right now. And there's a lot to be cleared up as far as that goes. So it remains a little bit of a kind of a far-fetched idea to think that he's a viable option, as the Cardinals need to move quick for their new staff. I mean, you got to get this thing hammered out before the NFL Combine at the end of the month.
Well, let me tell you why I think it could be realistic, depending on where Cleveland sits. They accepted his resignation.
Yeah.
They're not playing hardball that we know yet in terms of no, you're under contract, you need to come coach here. So by accepting his letter of resignation, they have moved on. Mm-hmm. Now, do they not want to set a precedent that any coach or player that's unhappy about their situation can subsequently be dealt for a draft pick? Who knows? But I do think this is a special set of circumstances where Jim Schwartz wants a clean break, as do now the Browns. And so I do think that we could potentially see some movement on this.
Yeah.
It's in the news for a reason today. and there are only 2 teams that need a coach. But you made a good point off air, and I agree with this.
As I often do.
Now, once or twice, every now and then. The Las Vegas Raiders play in the AFC. I would imagine that the Cleveland Browns would be less inclined to deal Jim Schwartz if they traded him in the AFC conference. So I have no idea if the Cardinals are available, if Jim Schwartz would come to Arizona. Here's what I do know. The Cardinals were going to pay Gus Bradley, quote-unquote, good money, big money to be their defensive coordinator. Yeah. Can you not say the same for a significantly, night and day, 2 different ballpark, better candidate in Jim Schwartz? There's no ties. We looked it up before the show. You'd be going in, with a, open mindset, but with a cold relationship. But if you're Monti Ossenfort, and this is what it keeps coming back to, what gives you the best chance to win right away? And I thought it was Mike LaFleur. Mm-hmm. We're going to see about the quarterback position. And then, of course, getting a staple, experienced defensive mind on your defensive staff.
His options, if he does want to coach in 2026, are limited, as you mentioned. Two teams with vacancies.
That's it.
And it's not the same as, the Clint Kubiak situation either, where it's, hey, the Raiders have the edge because they have the number 1 overall pick.
They don't.
And they've got a quarterback.
Right.
They're going to take Fernando Mendoza, and there's clarity there where the Cardinals didn't necessarily have that. If you're a defensive play caller and you're looking at the 2 operations,
right,
the Cardinals have the edge as far as defensive talent on that side of the football. I think that I can firmly say that. That's not a hot take. But is that enough? Is Jim Schwartz? I mean, he worked for the Browns, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Is he willing to come to the desert and call plays for a first-time head coach? Is he more willing to accept that? Because, it sounded like he was furious with the Browns' decision. The fact that they went with Todd Monken at nearly 60 years old, his first head coaching opportunity, they passed over Jim Schwartz, who had experience and also had been in that facility for so long, and they did so many interviews with him. It looked like he was the front runner until he wasn't. And when it came out as far as Monken goes, when Monken was hired, that Jim Schwartz basically just packed up his box and said goodbyes, and that was it. So this was just kind of a formality.
It's broken trust between the 2 parties, and Jim Schwartz wasn't owed anything. But I do think that, the initial thought process was, Shieldhouse or, the OC out of Jacksonville, Udinsky, you thought that they were going to be paired with Jim Schwartz, and it sounded like maybe Jim was okay with that. Now the Monken thing just comes out of left field for Jim Schwartz, and now he has to start anew. Now, does he pull a Sean McDermott? Does he sit out a year? I find that hard to believe. Because, again, you're resigning. Are you resigning your pay? Does that sound like a guy that, okay, I was going to make, $4 or $5 million as defensive coordinator. Is that gone now? What are the layers to this? Jeremy Fowler, I recommend everybody check out the article at ESPN because I don't think we're done with this for whatever reason. Now, the biggest hurdle would be Mike LaFleur wanting to bring him as a part of his staff. Yeah. But, he had ties to Gus Bradley. But, did he have ties to Wink Martindale? That's an interesting thing as we break news here on the show. This is significant.
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury is joining the Los Angeles Rams as their new offensive coordinator as they bypass.
Well, he's joining the staff. I don't know if he's going to be the OC or not.
Maybe not the OC.
He's helped fill the void left by Mike LaFleur, no doubt about it. And another talented offensive mind in Cliff Kingsbury returns to the NFC West, where he coached the Cardinals, and looks to strengthen his ties to Sean McVay.
Well, is this a Mike LaFleur 2.0 where a guy has a falling out with a prior organization and Cliff couldn't get a job this offseason.
Right.
We thought he was going to be a hot candidate. Baltimore, New York, these teams didn't want him, so he goes back to Sean McVay. He reunites with him, and at the end of the day, I'd be shocked if he wasn't their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to have a similar role.
Yeah.
He's not the primary play caller, but what we've seen Cliff be accepting of, he went and he was on the staff as a consultant for Lincoln Riley at USC before he returned to the play calling ranks in Washington. He ties himself to easy wins.
Yeah.
He's a savvy guy.
He's very smart. And, Cliff is very smart.
He's going to put himself in a position to probably be back in the cycle next year. But look, you get to, as you take away from McVay's staff, he goes and he I think adds another well-respected offensive mind to replace LaFleur, and who else might potentially exit there as well.
But doesn't this emphasize your need to get a Jim Schwartz or somebody like that? Whereas these other staffs, they don't let you breathe for a minute. We assume when Clint Kubiak goes that Mike McDonald's going to be aggressive. I don't know who's going to be available to sign as his OC, but Raheem Morris immediately goes to San Francisco.
Yeah.
McVay, I mean, he didn't lose Chris Shula. He, as of this point, he hasn't lost Aubrey Pleasant, who could be the Cardinals' new DC.
Yeah.
And I think Cliff, this is a great move for him. I think it's a great move for him because I think the Mike LaFleur hiring shows him, hey, like this is the pipeline.
Yeah.
This is where guys have the most success. And this is also interesting because Cliff has always called plays in the NFL.
Yeah.
This will be the first time, presumably, he will not do that.
Yeah, and he still gets to get paid his salary from the Cardinals, and who knows, as far as the Commanders, as he left that organization, very little left probably on that extension, but
right.
He gets to go there and live in a nice place and work for a guy who's just churned out these guys consistently into other big positions. I mean, if LaFleur finds any kind of semblance of success here, he's another victory or another notch on McVay's belt here, and Cliff would be join Shieldhouse as kind of the guys who are next.
Yeah. What's next for the Arizona Cardinals? Around the corner, we chat with our guy AQ Shipley with regard to the Cardinals coaching search and maybe the future of Kyler Murray. Stick around, a loaded Friday show here from Radio Row.
As our times come to an end here at Radio Row Super Bowl 60, we're about to board a flight. That means we're loading up on our pure edibles.
Yeah.
Helping a couple nervous flyers calm down.
Very nervous.
And enjoy our ride back to the Valley of the Sun. Check it out. If you're into edibles, you got to know Pure Edibles. Found it right here in our great state up in Flagstaff. I saw Noble Herb Dispensary up there. It was unbelievable when I was in Flag just a couple weeks ago to see where it all started. It's available, though, in 130 dispensaries statewide because they're legit. What sets Pure apart is it's the candy. Not just gummies buried under a mountain of sugar like everybody else. You don't want that. Pure's a full-on candy company. Gummies, kicks, act like their take on Starburst, soft chews, hard candies. Everything tastes great with Pure Edibles, including a shout-out to their Pure Edibles collab with Noble Road. It's unbelievable what's going on. So who says happy hour has to end? It's happy hour all the time with Noble Road's Tower Station IPA all in one. Brings that crispy, piney hops that you know to be true with Noble Road, and they mix it with Pure Edibles. You love that smooth THC twist. No pouring, no waiting. Just happy hour whenever you want it. If you're in Arizona, head to one of the 130 dispensaries statewide. Big shout out to our guy Ryan, big Cardinals fan. Grab yourself some Pure Edibles products, and don't miss that Tower Station AIO from Noble Road. Cheers.
Cheers for our friends at Pure Edibles. Hello to our friends back home at the Arizona Lottery. I'm feeling lucky this week. We've had a great week on Radio Row. Feel very fortunate and lucky with all the guests we've been able to secure. I'm going to keep that momentum going with the Arizona Lottery's multiple family pack. Multiple scratchers are the perfect way to add to your life. With multiple scratchers from the AZ Lottery, you can multiply the good things like relaxation, vacation, celebration, right? Love taking vacays on our friends at the Arizona Lottery because with over $270 million in prizes, you could win big enough to do the things that you love, and multiple tickets start at just $1. That's right, $1, and have prizes up to $5 million. You like that return on investment? How about this? The triple-themed games. Triple the games, triple the fun. Now you can play 3 exciting triple-themed games from the Arizona Lottery. Play triple red sevens and triple cash payout scratchers for the chance to win top prizes, $100,000 in triple red sevens. Fast Play has a progressive jackpot starting at $30,000 with access to over 3,500 retailers across the state of Arizona. You can play whenever you'd like. Check them out right now. It's Arizona Lottery.
This is awesome out here at Radio Row, San Francisco. Super Bowl 60 ran into Cardinals color guy for the first season. AQ Shipley, of course, former player. Pat McAfee show just down the way here.
AQ, first, just thoughts. Mike LaFleur, head coach, how do you think he did win the presser yesterday?
I thought he nailed the presser. I thought it was an absolute home run. Everything he said, he hit with conviction. I think everybody in that room ate it up. I was watching the players' reactions.
Yeah.
I was watching some of the other guys. So I thought everything he said, and again, he started with his family, right? He started with his roots. He goes back to all the things. So I thought, listen, when you turn on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it was that he gets hired, and then all of a sudden you see this press conference and you wake up the next day and there's no clips about how bad anything he said, that's a home run.
We made the exact same point, and fair or not, unfortunately, and we love Jonathan Gannon, those clips were out there and people were making fun of him. It's just like the Cardinals needed this kind of day. And the aura of not only having him there with his family, but then you have Matt there. And then the first couple things, I pointed this out yesterday, it's like Michael Bidwell made a point to come out and say, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, that's the pipeline. And it's like, for a Cardinal fan, it's just like, well, yeah, of course this would be the play.
As an offensive guy, I don't know why you wouldn't start with the McVay-Shanahan world. I mean, listen, you can sit there and say that they haven't won all of the Super Bowls, right? But they're the most consistent offenses year in and year out, and they win. Take this year, for instance, with San Fran. What they did with injuries and still being able to put a product on the field that was better than most is incredible and attributes solely to Kyle Shanahan and what he's able to do. And then what McVay's done. This is what I always talk about with McVay. You go back to when I was playing against McVay as a player. It was 11 personnel, tons of shifts and motions, and everything was wide zone with Todd Gurley. And now you turn them on this year, and when you have a coach like Sean McVay, like Kyle Shanahan, that can take the personnel and adapt to them as opposed to just being a one-system guy, that's a good coach.
Yeah. It felt like, Cardinals ran a ton of 13 personnel, ton of 12 personnel. Obviously before the injuries this year, right? But McVay and LaFleur were able to really take advantage of those personnel mismatches.
Well, I think the big thing, too, is listen, whenever I turn on the Cardinals this year and I'm watching it from the booth and I'm sitting here saying, okay, well, by the third game, I knew what they were running every single time. They line up in 13 personnel, or they bring a big tackle in as a tight end. I'm like, okay, here comes a runner, a play-action pass, right? It was pretty easy to kind of get to that point this year. Now, I know some of the injuries, the Tip Ryman injury, and some of these things kind of factor into that. But when you turn on 13 personnel with Sean McVay, and now they're inserting Puka Nacua as a fullback on the weak side, and this tight end's going out here, and these two, right? You just never knew what it was going to be. And it married up with the pass game, and that is how you take advantage of running 13 personnel versus being able to predict most of the stuff.
We got breaking news earlier today. Nathaniel Hackett, new offensive coordinator for Mike LaFleur. And I think, people have pre-existing stigmas about, it didn't work out here, and then Denver, and this and that. But I just think back to this was a Matt LaFleur guy. And obviously Mike trusts his brother's opinion. They've worked together before. Your reaction to hiring?
Yeah, so listen, I think at the end of the day, he, as in LaFleur, is going to be calling the plays, right? Yeah. So this is just going to be another voice, helps in the pass game, helps quarterback development. Also, he's a guy that has head coaching experience. I love that move, right? I think if you're going to be a guy, and this is really ultimately, he called plays with the New York Jets, but this is really going to be his time to shine right now. Okay, now it's your time. Okay, now you got to surround yourself with a good DC. I like surrounding yourself with a former head coach who can help with game management decisions, plus have an offensive mind in the room. And then again, you trust your brother. I think that's one of the qualities that both him and Kubiak bring is they can lean on a brother in terms of LaFleur, or they can lean on a dad or another brother, all in the coaching world, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Who do you think that this hire benefits the most on that roster?
I think everybody, honestly, because I think, I talk about it on McAfee Show all the time, scheme and fit are everything, right? You can put me in Sean McVay's system, and I probably wouldn't do that well. I'm not built for zone. I'm 6'1", and I'm as wide as I am tall. I'm meant to move people north and south, not run east and west, right? And so I always fit well in a Bruce Arians scheme. I fit well because it was gap schemes, it was power, it was mano-y-mano, be physical, right? Yeah. So now you get a guy who can use the scheme and use the fit, like a Ben Johnson, who can take an offensive line who maybe isn't the best offensive line, or a McVay who, man for man in L.A., wasn't maybe the best offensive line, but they look really good because they put him in the right position.
We got to ask you about Kyler Murray. It feels like, at least to us, and you don't have to comment on it if you're not comfortable, it feels like the relationship is probably coming to an end this month. just give me your whole synopsis of the Cardinals quarterback situation because, in a perfect world, third overall, there'd be a guy to take there. It just doesn't appear like that's the case right now.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting draft, right? I think Fernando's obviously the clear-cut one, and then after that, they were hoping for Dante Moore. He goes back to school, so now there's a very solid scenario that the next quarterback picked is until mid-20s. There might only be one in the first round at the end of the day, right? And so, whenever I look at this, I sit there and I think about it, and I'm like, okay, at 3 overall, if you don't take a guy that's going to change your franchise, it's a tough pick. And I'm not sure there is that guy at 3. So, if I'm sitting here watching, I would not hate if he moved back to 9, 10, 11, whatever it is.
Kind of the Paris draft, right?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Pick up some more picks. Maybe even do the same type of thing. You could probably fall into one of those tackles at whatever pick he moves back to, then pick up another guy, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the Kyler thing, listen, Kyler's as talented of a guy that has ever come into this league. For whatever reason, it hasn't gotten over the hump here, right?
Yeah.
And I think it came to a head this year. The whole situation with the injury happens, and then all of a sudden you kind of it becomes weird storyline. So it just looks like it's coming to an end, and that may be good for both parties involved.
We've had him on our show, and we love Kyler Murray, but you can also say both parties would probably just benefit moving on.
Yeah. It's no different than John Harbaugh and the Ravens, right? Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, right? Sometimes it just wears out its course.
Sure. 7 seasons. There doesn't feel like there's any animosity here. It's just hey, tried. Didn't work. And, go off elsewhere, and then the Cardinals got to take a leap of faith for another quarterback somewhere on
the biggest problem, as you guys know, right? This league is not the business of patience as it once was, right? Sitting there and being okay, cool, Mike LaFleur, you got all the time in the world. Hey, listen, we know we don't have a quarterback right now. We're not sure what we're going to do. We're going to give you 3-4 years. It sounds great.
Yeah.
It sounds great until it starts affecting the bottom line, right? And it starts affecting the fans and people showing up to games and all the different things that factor into the business.
Real quickly, we'll get you out of here. So generous with your time. The coaching search in general, the Cardinals entered it. There was 4 or 5 teams, and then it ballooned to 10, and it spanned over 4 weeks. And we've talked about it ad nauseum. A lot's been made. Hey, they're the last team to pick a coach, and they waited for Kubiak. Do you think that was just them doing their due diligence?
I think partly, but I think also, listen, I think it's also okay to sit here and say it wasn't the most attractive job right now. I think it's okay to say that. I think it's there has not been a clear-cut answer on what the quarterback situation is moving forward, right? And you just fired a coach after 3 years, and now you're looking for a new thing. You keep your GM, right? And so it's, I think a lot of these guys are looking at it like we talked about, there's going to be patience. Well, no, there's not patience. So, if you're a guy that's getting an opportunity to become a head job, you want to go to the best situation with a clear-cut plan. And, maybe that's getting laid out in these meetings behind closed doors and maybe not to the public. But, I think ultimately I kind of equated this job search to the Penn State job search, right? I'm a Penn State guy, and I sat there forever, and it's what are they doing? Who are they going to get? It's taking a lot of time, and ultimately they end up on Matt Campbell. Ultimately, Cardinals end up on Mike LaFleur. Pretty good.
Yeah.
So I feel really good about where they got to.
Right.
In the terms of the puzzle, just
doesn't
not
matter
sure
if you
how
get
it
the
got
coach
there.
right.
That's exactly right.
Is there much you can say about Thursday night and former teammate of yours likely getting that call, Larry Fitzgerald, for the Hall of Fame?
I hope he gets it. He deserves it. But again,
you don't know what to expect.
You don't know. And after this Belichick thing, you have no idea what to expect anymore. But, I think for me, if anybody's listening about Larry Fitzgerald, I was teammates with him for 5 years, and I played with some really good ones over the years. I played with probably 10 to 15 Hall of Famers when it's all said and done. And the consummate professional was Larry Fitzgerald. It's hands down. You guys have heard the stories over and over again, but the ultimate teammate, the ultimate professional. Never been around a guy like him in this league at the highest level. So if he doesn't get in, shame on them.
Real quick, I want to ask you this because we talk about it on our show. We're diehard Cardinal fans. We love this team. We love this market. You have a national platform, and you're the color guy for the Cardinals. What kind of responsibility do you take now being an ambassador for the team?
Yeah, big. Listen, you got to give me a good product, and I'll take my shirt off my back, and I will scream to the world. Even when I got the job last year, coming off last year.
Yeah.
That was the big thing he kept asking me, Pat, whenever I got on and I get the job, and he's like, okay, what are you looking forward to? I'm like, the offensive line. I'm trying to pump this thing through the roof, right? And I think, at the end of the day, but I'm also fair. I think you guys, if you listen to the radio broadcast, I don't sit there and kill them, but I'm also what are we doing here, guys?
Right.
Like,
We appreciate
35-0 in Seattle, and it's like,
what are we doing here, right? And so, like, I think I'm fair, but I think I'm honest, but I don't think I'm too biased, but I am a homer for the home team, and I want the home team to do well. And so, for me, I take it very responsibly.
Well, year one in the books. We're looking forward to year two with AQ Shipley. Thanks so much, man.
Awesome
Appreciate
stuff.
you guys.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, always.
The big game is right around the corner. Who better to dabble with than our friends at Bet365? Never ordinary. Again, you might be thinking to yourself, Johnny, I want to wager on the big game. I don't know where to start.
I want to wager on the big game.
Yeah, that's right. Check out our loaded parlay that we're going to be dropping on Sunday morning right ahead of kickoff. And in the meantime, you can take advantage of the phenomenal early payout offers with, the NBA Tuesday tip-off and, of course, the NHL hockey 3-goal lead. You get paid out with an instant payout, straight bets, and parlay selections, and they're immediately marked as winners. So even if that team were to come back and lose, you still get paid out. That's always winning, and winning big with our friends at Bet365. Breaking news, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the bonus code PHNX365, deposit 10, and place a bet $5. Get $200 in bonus bets. You can use bonus bets on things like spreads, totals, player props, futures. How about the plus 1,100 coaching future that one of our avid listeners sent us that they got because they listened to the podcast? Absolutely love that. Be like that person. Get on those futures with Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Got to be 21 years or older, physically located in Arizona. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text Next Step to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
Quick reminder, if you've ever been in an accident or dealing with a serious injury, do your research. The lawyer you hire actually matters. That's why we trust Mark and Alexis Breyer, the husband and wife law team. Phoenix has been their home for decades. They raised their large family here, 8 kids. Their entire focus has always been their clients' results and giving back to their Valley community. After a serious injury, you don't want a firm that's just worried about billboards or profits. You want attorneys that are focused on your outcome. Their team brings hundreds of years of combined trial experience with multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death, and that's rare. Less than 1% of attorneys can say that in Arizona. They also go to trial when needed, and you always have access to your attorney. No phone tag, no runaround. If you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team today. It's 602-783-8841 or visit the link in the show notes and tell them Bo and Johnny from PHNX sent you.
Great time catching up with color man AQ Shipley, who I thought, was transparent, which is refreshing. It's like, not to knock, whomever had that role before, but it's like people want you to be honest. People want you to call out things that need to be called out. That doesn't mean you're any less of a supporter or a fan.
Right.
It's just keeping it real.
Yeah, you keep it real, and like sugarcoating it, I think it makes it disingenuous, and I think it makes it less honest, and you got to earn that trust. And I think that's big in his position. Year one going into year two, it's just unfortunate. Like he was like us. He was like a lot of people we talked out here who felt kind of duped by this team going into the year. Like thought it was going to be way better than 3-14, and now they're picking up the pieces. But I think they got a good one in AQ in that spot.
From one local media member to another favorite of ours, Cam Cox stopped by the set earlier today to talk about who else, Mike LaFleur and Kyler Murray.
Wrapping up our coverage out here, Radio Row Super Bowl 60, and we're glad to catch up with the lone Phoenix media member that was there last night covering the culmination of an unbelievable career, the GOAT. Larry Fitzgerald, Cam Cox joins us, 12 News.
What's up, my guy?
Our guy, our colleague, as we like to say it. I don't know if he likes to say it.
I do too. We're teammates, man.
He's our dear friend.
Yeah.
How was it last night?
Guys, it's unbelievable. As you guys know, there's a lot of just crazy news stories, sad news stories going on back in Arizona. And I thought last night, man, Larry gave Arizona one more chance to smile again.
Yeah.
And it was just neat. It was a uniquely Arizona moment because Larry is all the good that represents with the Cardinals, the state of Arizona. It was so neat to hear his name called, to see the reaction. Very few times in my life I've heard Larry Fitzgerald speechless, and he's known this news for about a week now, which means he lied to a bunch of people this week. Just so we're clear, he did really good at that. But he's known this news for a while, and to hear him somewhat still speechless about the whole night, it just goes to show you what it means to him.
It was a win, as you mentioned, for Cardinal fans. I thought also Mike LaFleur's hiring was a win. At his press conference, you were there. Let's turn the clocks back to early January. We were all, I think, all surprised Jonathan Gannon was let go, given the optics of the situation with Michael Bidwell. The video, by the way, that you posted the day before Jonathan Gannon was dismissed, took over the internet. Walk us through, or Bidwell, excuse me.
Where he hugged him,
yes. And walk us through, you took that video, and then what happened the next 24 to 48 hours?
Yeah, I just think I think fans somewhat got to Michael in a sense. When you looked at the big picture, this team needed some hope. And not that Jonathan Gannon was a bad coach, it didn't work out. He didn't win. Mm-hmm. And I think Michael saw what was coming down the pipeline. You were facing an offseason where it was going to be very hard to sell any type of hope or message to this fan base. You had to move on. You had to do something else strictly about wins and losses. And so that's why I think Michael Bidwell decided to make a move, to make a change. Hiring process was very interesting, as you guys all know.
Yeah.
Bo, I loved your line where you were like, it just felt like an extension of the season.
Yeah.
The losses just kept stacking up. It went through a long process. I think they got the right guy, too, as well. We've been here all week, and to hear people speak about Mike LaFleur the way they do, clearly his football IQ is through the roof. A lot of respect from big names here, many that you talked to throughout the week. So clearly the Cardinals got a good one, at least in the eyes of the circles of the NFL. Players are pretty fired up about him. They know what he can do offensively, and I think other players on other teams know. So it should be a lot of fun to watch.
It's just
this year.
The talent pool that they're in is different than the other 9 teams that were searching for coaches. Where probably they had some peers, maybe 2 other teams in that pool, and it's unfortunate. As much as they fix things were the same 3 years later with Monti and JG. I think behind the scenes, the culture and what they're doing with the new facility in 2028, that's all well and good. But, if you're here, you don't have a solution at quarterback or clarity on the quarterback, right? This job, it's a tough sell. But, LaFleur, it's not just – you're not settling. It does seem like they got somebody on the ground level.
Because, Bo, that's been the criticism. Why did 8 or 9 other teams pass on Mike LaFleur? Why didn't they go after him the same way the Cardinals did? That's been the criticism that I've heard. Listen, I think the Cardinals just found a hidden gem in a sense. Let those other teams spend $20 million, $15 million on some of these big names. And I get it. Sometimes the big names work out. But as we've seen with the Suns, maybe a young up-and-comer who knows his X's and O's really well, knows how to build really good team chemistry, it can work. And from all signs that, at least that we've heard and that we've seen and talked to other people about, Mike LaFleur is that similar guy.
Let's fast forward to the 2026 regular season. Cardinals.
I'm not giving a prediction.
Cardinals.
You know how wrong I was last year, Johnny? I could not be more. I'm surprised they gave me a credential. I was so off.
No, you weren't the only one. This show was very wrong. Yeah. We talked to
Vegas
Nate Tice here. Everybody, Robert Mays, all these.
Okay, but y'all were wrong.
Yeah,
we were wrong.
I was way over here.
Okay. All right.
No, we were next level wrong.
Yeah.
Who's the starting quarterback of this team in 2026?
It's not Kyler Murray, and I'm not reporting that by any means.
Yeah.
It's just my personal opinion. I just think it's time to move on for both sides.
Yeah.
I think it's time to go in a different direction. This team sounds like it's going in a different direction. Listen, we all heard Jonathan Gannon, Monti Ossenfort. I just put a number 7 months ago. Kyler's the guy. Kyler's the guy. Yeah. Kyler's the guy. However you want to phrase it, right? That message changed as the season went on. At the end of the year, it changed. Monti did not commit to that.
Yeah.
Mike did not commit to that. You haven't had that conversation. You've had that conversation. And you might not have a decision on it, but you've had some type of discussion about it. So the fact that they still haven't committed to Kyler, I think is a sign that it's time to move on. Jacoby, to me, is probably the guy, unless you can find somebody else.
Let me follow up real quick.
But I would have a competition. I'll say that. I'd have a competition.
100%.
Fan base needs that.
Yeah, and speaking of the fan base, there are people in this fan base that say, well, this season's already cooked already.
Why?
Well, because you don't have a quarterback. This quarterback draft is not great.
We push back.
Contextualize it for our audience. Monti Ossenfort has to win. Yeah. He's 15-30. He still has that record. Mike LaFleur might have a bunch of rope, but Monti Ossenfort does not. I expect big moves this offseason.
If Michael Bidwell's words are true about this was about wins and losses, then Monti Ossenfort has a short rope, right? He's No Pro Bowlers. I mean, we've talked about this for weeks now with this roster, what it's kind of been built towards. I thought they had a good roster last year. It didn't pan out with certain things. I think they believe they have somewhat of a competitive roster still coming back, and if you could add some pieces and move some things around, they could be right there too as well. But I think his rope is pretty short. He's got, if it's really about wins and losses, and something happens next year where it doesn't work out and this roster is not very good, this team's not competitive, that's going to fall solely on the GM. In my eyes.
Your guy, Cam Scadaboo's over there, guys.
Oh, great name, by the way.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Johnny, you want to refresh everybody? We tried.
We did.
We tried to tell Bo.
Some people
apparently
know.
Bo doesn't know Cam Scadaboo.
Apparently Bo doesn't know balls.
Yeah.
Some
Bo
people
don't know
ball.
scat. Bo don't know scat. That's for sure.
We tried. We tried to tell him. That's just, to me, listen, I don't mean to go back, but that's just like a football player who you want on your team.
It was such an easy layup.
Easy layup, and the Cardinals missed it. Yeah. I don't care what your analytics said. I don't care where he was on your draft board. I don't care when you wanted to pick him, when you didn't want to. I don't care about any of that.
We know that.
To me, it was a simple call to put him on the Cardinals.
We know, like, the staff didn't think super high of him.
Yeah.
And now the staff is gone. And Cam Scadaboo is here.
And they need a good staff.
Yes.
So you mentioned staff. I think that's what hurt JG.
Yeah.
Is he didn't have a lot of experience around him, especially around Drew Petzing on that offensive side.
Yeah.
I hope Mike LaFleur, and every signs point to, like, the people that he knows. I'm not saying he's getting, his best friends in coaching to come along with him.
Yeah.
But he's going to get some good coaches that bring experience back to the coaching staff. Because when I talked to Bruce Arians, that was a big thing. I was like, Coach, hey, man, guy's going to call plays and be a head coach, first-time head coach. He goes, that's like a near impossible job. He wished him the best of luck.
Yeah.
But you need a good staff around you because you're not going to coach the defensive side of the ball. You're definitely not going to coach special teams. So you got to have people you trust on the other sides to kind of run the show while you're working about the offense.
It makes the Nathaniel Hackett, hire a little palatable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you feel a little bit more comfortable. He's not the play caller. He's a close family friend of the LaFleurs.
And a well-respected coach. Like, he's done some things.
Yeah.
He failed as a head coach,
Yeah.
but, like, a lot of people in this league don't have success as a head coach but are still good coaches.
He makes Mike comfortable. And
Yes.
I want Mike to be comfortable. We talked about it on our show at Honesty. I'm like, sometimes good coaches come and go from the Cardinals and have success elsewhere because maybe the Cardinals cardinal them, right? That's what I refer it to. It's like, Mike, you build your own staff, and if it's a bunch of guys, he's been a 5-time offensive coordinator. This is his 5th OC job. So we'll see. Well, real quick, Jim Schwartz out in Cleveland. Any steam to him potentially coming to Arizona? We'll get you out of here.
I haven't heard anything like that, but Bo, we need to call him. We need to call him, get him on the
Get
phone.
Schwartz. Yeah.
Listen, you have to have experience at that position. You just have to.
Yeah.
And all the talk out of Cleveland, like, they didn't want Jim Schwartz to go anywhere.
Right.
Like, his attacking defense, how he set up guys, great. Bring that to Arizona and pair that with Mike LaFleur. You got an offense that can put up a lot of points. You got a defense that can get after folks.
Now we got something.
Now we're cooking.
It's like you lost out to the Raiders because you didn't have quarterback clarity. They got the quarterback in a one-quarterback draft. You can get the offensive guy, but I think there's more talent on this defense that might be appealing to Schwartz.
And I'll say this.
Yeah.
I don't think the Raiders' job is a better job than the Cardinals.
No.
That's it. All right.
Great stuff from Cam Cox, our guy at 12 News. Great to see you out here. Can't wait to talk some more this offseason.
See you, my guy.
Good to see you guys. Thanks, guys.
Good stuff from our guy, Cam Cox. And, again, I put him on the spot there as it relates to what the future holds for the Cardinals' QB position. But I think he's been transparent, as have we.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Kyler Murray.
No, it's not. Speaking about transparency, does Will Hernandez want to come back to the Arizona Cardinals, the soon-to-be free agent? We ask him that directly and get back into this previous season with Miho. It's the big question out here at Radio Row is, when is PHNX Cardinals going to get an invite to maybe a taco eating contest with Miho? Miho Things, of course, the apparel company, the food trucks. Will Hernandez joins us. Will, how's it going, my man?
Hey, doing great, man. I definitely need to pull up the food truck for you guys. I want to see who can eat the most tacos.
Probably not me. People will make fun of me, but you know what? I can have a big boy plate, though. I want to take us back to last August. So Bo and it was after a practice, a scrimmage. We were with Jonathan Gannon, and he pulled us aside for a second. He was fired up. He goes, I think we got Will Hernandez coming in on Monday. I think we got Will Hernandez coming back. Talk to me about that recovery period this past year and then inevitably signing back with the Cardinals.
You know what, man? That was one of the most craziest experiences of my career. Definitely the hardest. But it was something that taught me a lot. It taught me who the person I thought I was. It proved that I was exactly that. if I can go through that, I'm going to go through anything. I went 6 years without ever getting injured on a football field as far as to like miss games.
Yeah.
And I considered myself very lucky for that. But it was this that taught me the biggest lesson. And I was always, and this is every player. Every player is scared and has it in the back of their mind that, you know, it could happen. Never on game day, but it could happen, right? After this situation, man, I am fearless out there.
Okay.
I feel like there's nothing worse that can happen. A rolled ankle, whatever. Like it doesn't scare me anymore. So I mean, that was the biggest thing. And one thing I knew though, I was going to come back, however long it took, and I was going to play just like I was playing before.
I mean, you talk about it all the time. Like it's case by case, player by player. Injuries are not linear. It's not like, hey, you're good this day, you're going to improve by next week. Like, how was it? Because we talked to you when you did sign. You're like, I've been in the gym. I've been, MMA fighting, doing all that kind of stuff. You felt good, but were there days after that where it was just like some humbling moments with the injury and it's just kind of barking at you?
No, I mean for sure. You know, I don't care what they say. Like you're just never the exact same, I guess.
Yeah.
But you learn how to navigate and have the same results, but with just like a different feeling of that injury, right? So yeah, it's true. Maybe the knee won't be exactly the exact same, but I know how I can get the same job done the way I did before.
It was always so telling for us, Will, that you were part of the prior regime, and then you were a holdover with Jonathan Yannon's regime because it spoke to the person and the player you are. So my question for you now is, we're going to go 3 for 3. What's your future here with Arizona or the NFL in general?
Hey man, that I couldn't tell you. I wish I knew the answer to that. It's not up to me. It's not even up to like a lot of people that maybe did want me or want me in the building. So we're just gonna have to let that sort itself out. All I can do right now is make sure my knee's 120%. I'm in the best possible shape I can be in, and then just roll from there, man. Whether it's with the Cardinals or whoever wants me, but I just want to be with a team that actually wants me in the building.
What was it like though, to be able to get back out on the playing field less than 365 days after suffering the injury like you did?
You know what, man? I've always been my biggest thing is like never submit to a timeline. Okay. Never just say, oh, everybody did it like this, so it's going to be like this for you too. Like, nah, like I don't like that mentality. For me, it was, yes, I wanted to come back earlier in the best, fastest way possible. But whether that was, I was also ready for it to take longer, whatever it was. But I was going to do everything as far as like from an action standpoint to come back as fast and as good as possible.
You're somebody synonymous with this franchise now, making that trip to New York, now coming to Arizona. Have you heard from this fan base? Because I remember over the course of the summer, it's like, when's Will coming back? Will's got to come back. And you think about what you just said, like not all injuries are linear, everybody has different timelines. I just couldn't believe when you signed and then inevitably came back on the practice field. Like, did you get that feedback from this fans? How are you playing? What's happening here?
No, definitely. I mean, the fans were always there, like surprised, but they're more than happy than anything.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of that from my teammates because most of these guys know that injury or have been through the injury before, and they were even like, bro, how'd you do it? It's a little bit harder for an offensive lineman because you got more weight to like load back on that knee. So yeah, man, it was definitely something that I couldn't even. I was just like, I don't know, bro. I just took it day by day, just grinded, and I'm back.
How's your knee feeling now?
It's feeling really good, actually. This past season, it had nothing to do with the surgical knee. It was actually a new injury from like something else. But this knee that I came back from has only done this. Yeah. So it hasn't actually, it's been very stable for me.
There was a scare in training camp, it might have been before you were back, where Yellow Froholt went down, and then like a day later he's back, and we're like, what was the deal with that? He's like, I got an elite ligament. So maybe you guys are one and the same. Maybe you guys just have
there's so many like little injuries too. I mean, he definitely got probably fined for that, just for we call it a milk and honey fine. Probably just wanted the day off or something. But no, man, it's crazy too, man. Like you can go from a blown out knee to like a tiny little like nagging thing, but it will keep you away from the game or from practice. Just we all know we got to be 100% or damn close to 100% out there. So any little thing like that can also affect you.
Got to ask you. I mean, it was such high expectations for this team last year, didn't come to fruition. Jonathan Gannon moves on. Just your experience with JG as a coach.
My experience, man, he was such a good coach. I was shocked that they let him go. But, I mean, again, I can't control none of that. We have no say. We don't tell them what to do, nothing like that. I was attached. A lot of other guys were attached. And not just from, like, a personality standpoint. He was a great guy. But, like, from an actual, like, belief in what he has, like, us training for. Like, there's a lot of factors. It wasn't just his coaching. There's a lot of factors that go in there. We all know somebody has to pay the price for, a season like that. And its first one is the head coach, and that's just normally how it works. If you're asking me personally, man, he was our guy, believed 100% in what he had going on. He gave me the opportunity, and all I wanted to do was play my heart out for him.
You guys had a little changeover. Clayton goes to Dallas. He has a lot of success there. And Justin comes in, but your group stayed the same, like the camaraderie as far as you guys in that locker room and how you played off each other. In the gym, you guys are putting in the work. How is it that bond has been so strengthened? And like we saw this with Isaiah Adams when he was a rookie. You play with him at the meal, the last end of the season meal, give him a big check with a big number. Do you guys have any more hijinks like that at the end of the season with the young guys? Like did Hayden Connor, did you scare the shit out of him?
No, yeah, I mean, rookies, they get that every single year, no matter where they are. But yeah, they definitely, got us a few like meals, breakfast, go get some food before we get on the plane. Every rookie's always going to have to go through that. But no, I mean, the camaraderie, man, it just speaks from like the top to the bottom. Also, like when you have vets that are really cool, like, Froholt and Parrish and all those guys, it makes it easy, right? But it makes it even better when you have rookies that understand the role and don't take it so serious. And that's what I think about those rookies too. I think they're great dudes. I like them a lot. I'm pretty soft on the rookies, but these guys just made it easy just to like get along.
What's your plan for this off season? You start taking visits and free agency. What's the next step for you now? Yeah,
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still a Cardinal until March or whenever free agency starts. So as for now, that's the hat I wear. I'm at the facilities getting better, working on myself. And at the end of the day, man, we'll let them make that decision, and I'll go off of that.
I'm pretty sure the organization knows this, but Paris Johnson Jr. eligible for that extension. You get it done as soon as possible. Pay the man.
Yeah, of course, man. Pay my boy. That's not even a question.
Awesome. Hey, I want to check out the hat, the Miho hat. I want to rep it. Can I take a look at it?
For you right here.
I was eyeing it, and like,
it's gonna look good in the place.
I don't look great in hats. And then people are saying my jacket's oversized. This is what's going to separate me here on Radio Row. This is what's going to have me stand out from the crowd. Check them out right now. Where can we pick up these lids right now?
So it's mihothings.shop. And also, if you go to my personal Instagram, I have all the links right there for everything. And just so you guys know what we're wearing here and what we're rocking, it's called Miho. And the whole reason is everybody knows there's not many NFL football players that are Mexican. I'm one of the lucky ones, and so I'm just trying to represent more than just with what my last name says. This gives people a voice, and a lot of those kids who don't think that they belong in the NFL just because they might be Hispanic or they might be Mexican and they think there's not a place. This gives them a voice, gives them a platform, and I rep it proud all the time.
One of the best ambassadors, not only for the Arizona Cardinals, but for the NFL. Check him out. His social media is fantastic. Will, I think I can say this unanimously from the Cardinal fan base. Hope to see you back in the desert, my guy.
Appreciate you guys.
Man, Will Hernandez, one of my favorite people we ever get to talk to on this show. We'll see if he ends up in Arizona. I don't think his NFL career is over. I think he's got a lot of good football left in him, but you just have to wonder, scheme fit with a Mike LaFleur, probably different than what it was with Drew Petzing. All we know is it sounds like he's healthy. He's going to hit free agency and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, and we wish him all the best as far as Miho, and he's going to continue to embrace this community, which makes him so fantastic. A couple offensive linemen there, but now we're going to tap into the brains of a quarterback, but one that actually had to protect his head a lot by bashing some defenders.
Yeah.
We're going to dial up the Streveler package. That's right. We're going to talk to former Cardinals quarterback and fan favorite Chris Streveler. He's worked with Mike LaFleur. Also, what was his time like with Kyler Murray? We ask him. It's coming up next, PHNX Cardinals.
I'll tell you what I'm fired up about, getting tickets at a discounted price with our friends at Game Time. Game Time, your perfect ticketing app for all things NBA. By the way, you can get tickets as low as $25. I'm a big-time sports fan, not just football, and I'm a big-time community fan. I love when sports can meet community at a reasonable price. $25 for an NBA game. I saw Suns tickets for the recent homestand under $40. I'll tell you what I've gotten on Game Time. Sporting event tickets, Cardinal tickets, WWE tickets, concert tickets, right? I saw Lizzo. I'd love to see Lady Gaga.
You saw Lizzo?
I did see Lizzo before she was canceled. It was okay. It was pre-cancellation. But I'm going to tell you what I would never cancel. My relationship with Game Time. They've got the zone deal. Save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. They've got that panoramic view to check out your seats before you buy. It's one of my favorite things they do. You click on the ticket, it tells you the price, and then there's not like some hidden page which adds a bunch of fees. What you see is what you get, and what you get, the best tickets money can buy. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, bonus code, of course, PHNX, $20 off your first purchase. Again, that might cover your whole ticket. Yeah. Tell them Johnny and Bo sent you. Download the Game Time app today.
See T.I. right over there. Maybe go see T.I. in concert via our friends over at Game Time. Look, we all love a night out at Gila. Everybody knows that. Great shows, great food, the whole treat-yourself vibe. And if you're taking it up a notch, as you should, Gila River Resorts and Casinos is bringing Vegas vibes straight to Phoenix. The Vegas residency is happening now through April. Think exclusive concerts, extended DJ sets, showgirls, chef-driven dining, pop-up bars, surprise cameos, the whole Vegas energy without having to hop on a plane or drive 5 hours through the desert. 4 casinos, 4 Corvettes giveaway going on. 4 chances to win big. January 16th through April 24th. It's been going. Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, Vequeva, and Santan Mountain. Play the card on Fridays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for bonus entries and a hot seat chances. And yes, there's swag too. Grand finales wrap up April 27th through the 30th, right around draft time. I'm sure we'll be there for our draft party.
Yes.
You bring you. They bring Vegas. You do you. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathgila.com for calendar and details. What is the strongest part of his skill set that's going to make him successful as a coach, in your opinion?
Well, I think the ability to build relationships with players, like I said, is extremely important. When guys know you care about them and you go that extra step to have conversations with them outside of just football, that goes a long way. And then obviously his offensive mind and creativity and what he does with his version of the West Coast offense. I know there's so many different versions out there now, but again, being with McVay, I think he's going to add some new tools to his tool belt, and I'm excited to see how it looks with the players they got out there in Arizona.
Talk about your time with the Jets with Mike, because he ended up leaving the Jets but then got the same exact role in that offseason with the LA Rams. I mean, you get fired from the Jets, then you go to the Rams, and you're immediately under Sean McVay. It must say a lot about the person, the play caller.
I think there's a lot of respect for him around the league. I mean, to your point, to make that jump from getting let go of the Jets or however that whole thing worked out and go out to L.A., there's a lot of respect there for him and who he is. And I think people could see the vision of where he was going to be and eventually be a head coach. And, I mean, being in the room with him, you could feel that too. Like, this guy is a young guy. He's always growing, always learning, and you could see the vision of him eventually leading the team.
It looks like it's inevitable that this is the end of the Kyler Murray era, which you were a part of, and I'd love to discuss that a little bit. But what is it about LaFleur, his system, that could potentially prop up or be very quarterback-friendly to whoever the next guy is?
Well, I think the idea is, within the West Coast system and everything that's kind of being built, is how do you marry up looks together? Mm-hmm. How do you marry so much of your offense so everything looks the same? And I think when you do that as an offense, you're able to anticipate, okay, we ran this once, we have this same look, we're going to take a shot off of it. Were they in the look before? And it allows you to be pretty tactical with how you call things offensively. And I think the great thing with any play caller is you're able to adjust your system to the skill set of your players. The system always has to be dynamic to fit to what are the strengths of the guys in your team? And I think that's something that he's going to do a good job with in Arizona.
Is there a type of quarterback? I know you said fit the system to the player, and I agree with that, and I like that. We've heard that about Mike. But from a quarterback standpoint, is there a prototypical guy or personnel that you would want at that spot with Mike? Because he had success. I remember that time with Mike White when Zach Wilson was out, and the Jets had one of the best offenses briefly in the NFL, and, of course, what he's done with Stafford.
Yeah. Well, I think you talk about Mike White, right?
Yeah.
Not a guy that's overly mobile.
Right.
Had a ton of success. And nowadays in the league, it's almost a prerequisite that you have some mobility to at least extend some plays with your legs. And so I think from an offensive standpoint, it's not as much about skill set. It's about a guy being able to process information quickly and get off his first read, get the ball out of his hands into his playmaker's hands. I think that's almost more important than the skill set. Like I said, if you can extend plays with your legs, get a couple first downs a game, that puts a lot of pressure on a defense to potentially play a little tighter to the box, open up some stuff down the field. But I think the number one characteristic is, can you process information quickly?
Let's talk about Kyler a little bit. As it feels like 7 seasons, we're finally going to put kind of a period on it, right?
Yeah.
And it's, for whatever reason, fair or not, narratives that are true or aren't, and everything that surrounds Kyler Murray, it just looks like just after 7 seasons going to come to an end this offseason. What were your experiences like with K1? We're big fans of him. Obviously, the competitor, about that. What do we know about Kyler in your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I love being around K1 because we were both young players at the time, so we were kind of learning and growing at the same time. And, getting to know him on a more personal level, being in the meeting rooms with him, I had a good relationship with him, man. And he's a nice guy. And I think seeing him from afar after I've been away from the Cardinals, seeing him grow as a leader has been impressive. Yeah. And I think he's taken a lot of steps. He's gone through some adversity, which I can speak to in my career, has built up a lot of character in me. And I think going through that makes you grow as a leader, makes you grow as a person. And I think he's done that. So, you guys are saying it's over. I don't know. I kind of heard what LaFleur said the other day, and he left it very open-ended. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But ultimately, for Kyler, I think he's still got a bright future. I think he's still got an opportunity to be a great quarterback in this league. He's been great before. He's led the Cardinals to the playoffs. He's been a Pro Bowler. So I think everything's still out in front of him, whether it's in Arizona or somewhere else.
Let's project. Let's say they do move off of Kyler Murray. Is there a quarterback you like, maybe free agency and or the draft, that could fit with Mike LaFleur, what he does? Maybe like a Malik Willis, somebody like that.
That's the name I keep hearing, and that's kind of what I keep thinking. If you do move on from Kyler, I hate to speculate, but maybe you bring in a Malik Willis and you have a veteran guy to potentially compete and have some kind of stability behind that. It's an interesting spot in the draft too, right? Because you're sitting at 3. So Dante Moore's not coming out. Fernando Mendoza's going 1.
Yeah.
There's not really that guy at 3, so do you trade back and get a Ty Simpson maybe? I don't know, right? So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out, whether you draft somebody or bring in a veteran behind him, or you go out and get somebody like a Malik Willis in free agency. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how it plays out, but ultimately, again, I think it's about whoever you do end up getting and making that decision, building the system around their strengths.
Let's go back a little bit. 2020, Week 17.
I remember it well.
Kyler goes out. Kyler goes out. You got in the game. I mean, Jonathan Ward, right? Was it Jonathan Ward that you connected with? Was it your first pass?
It was. If it wasn't the first, it was one of the first.
It was one of the first for a touchdown. And we're watching from afar. We're like, oh, let's go. Playoffs on the line. Is there anything like before that happened? I know the result wasn't what any of us wanted, but was there any time where Cliff or Kyler, or was there any conversations before you went in there to kind of get you juiced to take on that opportunity?
Not really.
No,
not really. It was kind of just business as usual, go try to execute. Unfortunately, we didn't get it done. And, there was so many things that happened in that game, and it happened so quickly. Obviously, there was the pick 6 where we didn't even have a play called.
Right.
We had a hard count. When we felt they jumped off sides, we snapped the ball. Obviously not a great decision. Looking back on it, I'd probably just go to D-Hop on the backside, give him a jump ball, him or nobody.
Yeah.
But we thought we had a free play.
Yeah.
So that's why you could see my face after that. I'm confused. I'm ready to come back, and then we get the ball coming out of half. We throw a bomb to D-Hop. One of the most unbelievable catches I've ever seen. Goes over the top of a dude, gets an OPI. Then proceeds to get an unsportsmanlike conduct. We're sitting at 1st and 35.
Yeah.
Right. So a couple situations where obviously unfortunate. You hand up, take responsibility for all those things, but just some unfortunate situations in those games. And ultimately, as a quarterback and as someone who's continued my career after that, you learn from those experiences. Yeah. Tough situation, but as we spoke about adversity, you grow through that, you become better, you become stronger, and I think it helped me down the road, especially with my time in New York.
Speaking of adversity, I want to take you back to the prior week when you hosted San Francisco. The outcome of the game was tough, but Mike LaFleur actually referenced that. I don't know if you saw this in his opening press conference. 2 instances with Michael Bidwell, the latter being the wildfires and then having the Rams host the Minnesota Vikings at State Farm Stadium. Mm-hmm. And he was a part of that staff, but he was also part of that team with you where he came in with the 49ers, and they had to actually live in Arizona. I mean, talk to me about that process, because that was the COVID season, how crazy that was.
Well, that whole season was insane with COVID. I mean, they had cardboard cutouts of fans in the end zone. I'll never forget my first game. We're playing in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's cardboard cutouts in the end zone? I mean, it was one of the weirdest experiences ever, and I think C.J. Beathard might have been starting that game for San Francisco. And, hopefully we would have got that win and kind of secured our spot, and then we didn't, and then, the L.A. game. So just an insane season, and, obviously – hindsight's 2020. You wish things would have played out differently, but things happen the way they happen, and you move forward.
D-Hop was making defenders look like cardboard cutouts in that first game. My God, 14 catches. Remember that debut for him?
Yeah, he's special, man. He's special.
Was there any moment, maybe take our audience behind the scenes of your Cardinals tenure, whether it was with Cliff or in that quarterback room or with your teammates, that you can remember that you just look back and that is hilarious, or that was a wild moment?
Oh, man. I mean, you bring up D-Hop.
Yeah.
I just remember there was a couple games. There was a game early in that season where he just came to silence, like, give me the ball.
Yeah.
Give me the ball. He just runs like a little 8-yard stop route, breaks a tackle, stiff arms a dude, goes like 50. I'm like, we got to get this guy the ball. And it was always interesting with him, too, because Cliff's offense was very unique, as we all know. A lot of flexibility. And so with D-Hop, he's not the most technical route runner in the world, but what he does have is an ability to fill space, and he has extremely strong hands.
Yeah.
So when we would install plays and we're like, all right, D-Hop's going to be on this crossing route, you'd see the crossing route in black, and then there'd be like 3 red lines coming off it. Like, well, if he sees space, he'll sit here. If he sees the middle open, he'll go here. He might take it at this angle. So it was always funny, like, maybe the route isn't going to be the crispiest route we've ever seen, but we know D-Hop's going to get to space, and if you give him an opportunity to catch the ball, more than likely he's coming down with it.
What was your experience like playing for Cliff?
Learned a lot. I mean, first experience in the NFL, and again, his system is so unique in terms of the no huddle, the ultra communication you have to have, right? It's a totally different form than when you get in a huddle and you're looking everybody in the eyes and calling the play. Everything's spread out, and you got to be efficient. You got to get aligned, and that's part of the upside of his offense is if you can get like 2 first downs, you've now got the defense on their heels, and you're probably going to go get 6. Yeah. So I loved learning from him, and it was always interesting, man, because that dude grinded hard, and he'd get in early and watch a ton of tape, and so every week we'd have 10 to 20 one-word plays that we kind of put in for that game that we thought were going to fit for the scheme that we were going against. And, just did a lot of creative things. And it was interesting as a CFL guy. Cliff also was in the CFL. I could see a lot of the influence that potentially had on his game because we did a lot of empty stuff. And that's gotten more popular in the league, too, where you're going 5 wide, maybe double chipping on the ends, getting guys as flat controls, getting check downs. And he did a lot of that. And a lot of that comes from the CFL, in my opinion, because you're in a 5 wide most of the time. And so the idea of getting 5 out is something that's happens all the time in that league. And so as I look back, I could see a lot of that influence on his offense.
When you look back at your career now, like you get the Grey Cup champion, is it twice?
Once.
Yeah. Nearly 2019, twice. Yeah. What endeared yourself to the fan base was the shirtless cowboy hat chugging beers on the Grey Cup parade.
All time. Great time.
You ever bust that out still? You bust the cowboy hat?
You know what? That's like the number one question I get. It's like, where's the fur coat?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I probably shouldn't break that out. No, that's one. And it happened so organically. Like, it was one of those things where after the game, I just put it on. And I was wearing it the night before, and then we woke up for the parade the next morning. I'm like, well, I guess I'll just put it back on, put my jean shorts on, and it just took on a life of its own. Now there's kids that dress up as me for Halloween up there, and I'm like, this is insane, man.
Yeah,
so.
Give me a couple Molsons, and they would go great with my jean shorts and my fur coat and my cowboy hat.
Oh,
shirtless.
Yeah, buddy.
Unbelievable stuff. But you're doing some great stuff here now post-playing career with Justin Pugh, right? Thursday Sports. You guys are hanging out over there. What else can we
doing some football?
From you?
Yeah, doing some football content with them. Kind of hoping to grow in that role. The idea of broadcasting has been so widened now with YouTube and content and all this stuff. And what they're doing is really unique, trying to kind of carve a lane in the middle where they're doing some stuff partnering up with the NFL and trying to give athletes the infrastructure around them to become content creators. Yeah. Because it is difficult when you go out on your own. How do I produce this stuff? How do I make content sticky? Because it's one thing to have knowledge, right? There's a lot of people with knowledge, but how do you turn it into content that's going to be sticky and have some legs? And so they've done a great job with helping me and some other athletes kind of get rocking and rolling, and it's been kind of fun to grow in that role and then be at something like this where I have some other things that I'm working on and be able to say, hey, I played in the league for 4 years, in the CFL for 4 years, but now I'm doing some of these other things. It's just been fun to kind of jump into this next chapter of my journey and see where it goes.
Well, Chris, we host a podcast every single day, so we'll keep you on speed dial. We got the SEO to get you sticky here on the internet.
You let me know. I'll be there.
Good stuff.
Appreciate you guys.
Chris Streveler, the Streveler package. We just converted a 4th and 1 right now.
Great stuff from Chris Streveler, who I think that was invaluable information about his time with Mike with the Jets, right? Everybody wants to talk about the time with the Rams where everything went great, right? But it's like when the adversity hit, what kind of guy was he? And it sounds like Chris gives him a big thumbs up.
Yeah. We got a new friend in Chris Streveler.
Yeah.
It's, I feel pretty confident about that. It's probably not going to be the last time you see Streveler on this show. Coming up right now, how about our guy, former Monday Night Football analyst, Booger McFarland. Let's get his thoughts on the Cardinals head coaching hire.
Radio Row coverage continues here. Super Bowl 60. We're catching up with ESPN's Booger McFarland. And Booger, what do you think about the Cardinals hire of Mike LaFleur as their next head coach?
Well, I like it. I think Mike has an opportunity to come in there and kind of build this team in his image. They got to figure out the quarterback position. I think everybody has a lot of questions about Kyler Murray and what he can do and kind of what his futures are, especially with the financial restraints and the contract. But I like it. It's an opportunity to get fresh blood in that building, and so I hope he has an opportunity to be successful.
How do you narrow the gap, if at all possible, with the NFC West? You've got a team in the Super Bowl, multiple other teams finish in the Final Four of the NFC.
Well, it's got to start the quarterback. The quarterback's got to be better. I think the team around him has got to be better. Marvin Harrison Jr., one of the great receivers coming out in the draft, he's got to continue to take that next step and be a legit number one defensively. They got to be better in the front seven. I think there's some pieces there. Walter Nolan looks like he's going to be a star, but they got to get better in the front seven overall and become a faster, more athletic team.
Yeah, we certainly agree with you on Walter Nolan. Just get him on the playing field, right?
Yeah.
Stay healthy. He was fantastic when he was. But talking about the quarterback, a couple of times there, it feels like it's inevitable that there's going to be a divorce this offseason. That after 7 seasons, Kyler Murray, experiment 1-1, it's going to come to an end.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you look back on it, what was it didn't do, that didn't turn into he was a franchise quarterback for this team?
Well, I think oftentimes when you try to go with the anomaly and not the norm, you open yourself up for a disastrous outcome. He's what, 5'10", quarterback, and when he was drafted, he was supposed to fit this specific system for Cliff Kingsbury. And it was always going to be a risk because of the size, always going to be a risk because of this offense they were going to play. I think that's when it started, like that position, man, a lot of people have tried. There's a certain way that position's got to be played. Mm-hmm. I know the new athletic quarterback is now vogue and everybody's into these guys that can run around. But, man, the name of the game is you got to stand back there and throw the football from the pocket. He's at a disadvantage because of his size. He hadn't been able to stay healthy. So I think a number of factors kind of factored in.
I want to elaborate a little bit more on Marvin Harrison Jr., 4th overall pick. It looked like after that Dallas game on Monday Night Football, he was going to take that next step. It's been injuries, it's been inconsistencies, maybe wasn't a great fit for Drew Petzing's offense. How does he take that next step?
By being on the field, being more consistent, man. Like, he's had some flashes. And he's a young player, so I think that there's an opportunity for him to continue to grow. You would have liked it to have been a little faster. Listen, I played with his dad. His dad's a Hall of Fame player. There's no doubt he's getting the best counsel, the best advice, the best tutelage. I think Marvin's going to be fine. You got to get a quarterback that has consistent rapport with him. His dad had great rapport. It was Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. And Peyton was the sheriff, and Marvin didn't say a lot, and he got the football.
Yeah.
I think, whoever's the quarterback in Arizona has got to get really on the same page with that kid and just create the confidence and the bond in him and know that he can be one of the best in football. And I think that's going to be key. We can talk a lot about the head coaching hirings, the offensive coordinator, but man, you got to get the right quarterback. This is a quarterback-driven league. If you got one, you got a chance. If you got one, you got no chance. If you don't, you got no chance at all.
It's a tough offseason to find one, too. I mean, tougher than usual. It's a 1-quarterback draft. You got Mendoza. I mean, is there anybody that you've seen, obviously you follow the college game pretty closely as well? LSU had a guy that, couldn't stay healthy this past year. There was change as far as the coaching staff, like a Nussmeier. Is there like a day 2 guy that you think they could probably bring in, maybe pair with a Brissett or a veteran quarterback as a bridge?
There's always some day 2 guys, man. Yeah. I mean, you just got to, as a general manager, you got to identify the talent that you want. You got to figure out what guy fits your system. I think Mike is going to play a key role in that. That's why you hire these coaches. Like, coaches go out, coaches hire the quarterback coaches, the offensive coordinators, and, hey, what fits our system best and who has those attributes?
Last night after a rough start with the voting process and Belichick not getting in, committee gets it right.
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald, first ballot Hall of Famer. Just your thoughts on Fitz's career and getting the nod going to Canton this summer.
Man, just so happy for him. Great dude. One of the better guys that I've ever met. The consummate professional. Does things the right way. It's good to see good people, good players who do things the right way on and off the field get rewarded. So I couldn't be happier for Larry.
Booger McFarland, so gracious with his time. Check him out on ESPN all week. Thanks, Booger.
Yeah, anytime.
We got that interview this morning at 8:45, and we rallied.
We did.
And I think Booger appreciated it. It's like we had a long night last night. We had a great time here in downtown San Francisco, and then we looked at our watch and we got Booger McFarland at 8:45. We better get our act together.
We better class it up for the Booger.
Yeah, the Boogman, Boogermobile. Remember when he had that? He was like right around on it. You mentioned earlier Streveler could be a future friend of the program, an old friend of the program we also caught up with today.
Yeah, we chased him down. It was, well, I'll let you intro this one.
It was bittersweet. We saw the Scat Man and his new quarterback and BFF, Jackson Dart. PHNX Cardinals here, rookie phenoms, Jackson Dart, and of course our guy Cam Scatterboot. Jax, I'm a little disappointed you took Cam from us here in the Valley. I was hoping to have my own bromance with Cam, and now you guys have struck up something in New York.
New York stole me from Arizona.
I know he said bromance, so
I was trying to do a bromance. That's all right. How are you feeling, Cam?
I'm feeling good. Get healthy, back to running a little bit, so it's been good.
Cam, let me ask you this. Jordan's headed to the draft. Jordan Tyson, first rounder, right?
Yep.
You got Sam going on. Who's the guy now at Arizona State? Who's going to pass the baton?
Man, there's a lot of guys. I'm going to give a big shout out because Kenny Dillingham texted me and said the next NFL player coming out of there for next year is wearing number 4, which is my number. And I told him not to put a chump in it. So he put Omarion Miller in it. I'm excited for him. I'm happy to watch him. I can't wait to watch him, see what he has in store.
What's your favorite paper towel, by the way, for you guys?
Bounty, bro. Bounty.
Bounty Bros. Maybe the 4 of us are Bounty Bros?
Sure.
This is my wingman right here.
My wingman.
All right, good stuff. Thank you guys, rookie phenoms from the New York Giants.
Appreciate it. Awesome.
They were probably the hottest guests this week. So big shout out to their team for just giving us some time. It's like we talked about with Trey McBride. Like, these guys continue to level up their game, and they're on McAfee. They're doing everybody. Kay Adams. So thank you to Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboot for doing a little walk and talk with us abruptly.
No doubt about it. And peep the camera work there by Shane Deef, who's backpedaling while shooting that. Very impressive. Speaking of their team, let's talk about our team out here at Radio Row, Super Bowl 60. Absolutely. I give everybody a hand from Noah behind the Mac, Emma, who's been shooting and making us look so good on social media.
Yep.
Shane Deef, as I just mentioned, just crushing it, waving around that camera, doing so many good things. Also getting us VIP access, pretty cool events here
yes.
in San Francisco. And then also our All-City crew. I see everybody here, and it really just takes everybody putting in a lot of hard work to make this go. 5 days here on Radio Row.
We've got the best team in the business, not only here at PHNX, but across All-City. So we continue to pat ourselves in the back and dominate accordingly. But as far as our PHNX staff, we couldn't do it without the group that Bo just mentioned. Again, you might just see Bo or I or one of the other on camera. There's probably like 4 to 7 people behind the camera making it all go, as do you all.
Yes.
Big thanks earlier this week, the massive donations with Big Brother, Big Sister. We have not forgotten about that.
Right.
And the generosity that was shown on top of the countless super chats. Do us one more. I asked for a lot. One more favor. Get us to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. We are just a few ticks away from getting there, and you could be number 50.
Yeah, barring an emergency podcast of a DC hire this weekend.
Sure, our wives would love that.
I think that we will be celebrating 50K when we're back live on Monday.
Excellent.
What do you think?
I agree with that. And in the meantime, do us a favor. Comment down below. What was your favorite guest of the week?
Yeah. Who was the best person that we tapped into here at Radio Row? There was a long, very impressive list that we're proud of. And thankful we got to chat with about this new coaching hire and the big questions kind of facing this organization going forward. But, yeah, absolutely. Comment on who your favorite guest was. Like this video. And as Johnny asked, subscribe to PHNX Sports.
But for Johnny, I'm Bo. That's a wrap for us from Radio Row, Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco.
We all city like the mayor.